was more Protestants this end from the time of the Protestant planters. Plus, this was the rich end. Shipbuilding, linen mills, engineering works. When you had a closer look at Ulster did consist of 9 counties. They reckon if they had kept all 9 counties, they were still going to have too many Catholics. They gave another 3 of those counties back to the Irish as well. Cavan, Monaghan and Donegal. They turned this into a 6-county Ulster. They set up as a Protestant state for Protestant people. Back then, within the 6 counties, the Catholics were outnumbered. 3 to 1, 3 Protestants for every Catholic. Then the English, they went off. But they left a Protestant unionist government to control Ulster. Still under British rule. Protestant unionists, they controlled Ulster in 1921. That one party, the Ulster Unionist Party, they went on to control Ulster for the next 50 years. The one party. But in the 20s, 30s and 40s, 50s and 60s, the IRA were having these different armed struggles, campaigns, trying to drive the English out of the 6 counties, trying to get one Ireland, United Ireland. 1962 they stopped their campaigns. They were getting very little support, very little guns. 1962 things quieted near Northern Ireland. The IRA, they were thinking, they were planning to go on the political route.
Sinn Féin?
Well, the IRA was planning to go on the Sinn Féin, yes. I was 14 years of age in 1962, just starting to discover Belfast. And they will tell you the trouble started or re-emerged again in 1969. What I'm going to do, I'm going to bring you back to the spot. But they say these troubles started in Belfast in 1969. I'll start my tour from there. It takes us into West Belfast. Troubles are all over Northern Ireland. West Belfast would have been known as the most dangerous fighting spots. So I wouldn't worry about a seatbelt, in case we have to get out and run. Okay.
Okay.
Before we go into West Belfast, Belfast city centre itself, it had a ring of steel around it. 6'6" high, solid steel gates, large spikes on top, right round Belfast city centre.
Until when? About what?
You couldn't drive into Belfast city centre, you were not allowed to.
Is this now, I mean, the 60s? When was I during this?
The ring of steel went up in 1972.
Wow.
Did not come down again until 1995. The reason to put the ring of steel around Belfast city centre was to stop the IRA driving car bombs in. Body search to stop them carrying incendiary devices in. The reason to put the ring of steel around Belfast city centre, there was 22 car bombs went off in Belfast in 1 hour, 60 minutes, 22 car bombs. That's why they put the ring of steel around Belfast city centre. So we're going to go off into West Belfast, start our tour where they say the trouble was actually started. Anything you don't understand, any questions you have, don't hesitate to stop me, okay?
Thank you.
Okay?
Yeah. All right then, ready to roll.
Now visitors coming here for 30 odd years. 25 years ago the visitors started coming here very slowly. This Australian boy arrives in one day. We're doing asking taxi drivers to bring him into West Belfast and let him have a look around. Driver said there's something wrong with his head, he's mad. British Army was still in the streets, it was still quite dangerous. Eventually found an experienced driver driving a black taxi. He said, come on, I'll show you West Belfast. Driver brought him in, showed him around West Belfast. Come back and says, there's an idea. Let's do black taxi tours and trouble spots. That's how it started. We were not trained tour guides, we were taxi drivers. Taxi drivers who had lived and worked the streets of Belfast during the troubles. You can probably tell by my driving, I'm still a taxi driver. I never claimed to be a tour guide. This is Belfast city centre to my right. That ring of steel I mentioned would have come out as far as that section. We're going to turn left at the next set of traffic lights. We're turning left into West Belfast. From this point where we turn left, straight out for 6.5 miles is all of the Catholic community. This would have been known as an IRA stronghold because the IRA, they come from the Catholic section. Catholics, they want one Ireland, United Ireland. Protestants, they want to stay under British rule, they want to keep that link with Britain. So from here straight out still today, it's totally Catholic. As we pass through these lights with a carriageway, a motorway running beneath us, you see a turn, well, it looks busy, down to our left and our right. I'm going to use that motorway as a marker for when I make my first stop. Just remember the motorway.
M1.
1962 things quiet in all of our. Yes, the IRA were thinking of going the political route. They will tell you the trouble started along this stretch of road, 1969. It didn't start for no reason. Back in 1964, next to this building on my right here, is it a Sinn Féin election office? You've heard of Sinn Féin?
Yes.
Some people doing these tours never heard of Sinn Féin. Some people doing these tours don't understand me, and I don't understand them.
Yes, the IRA. They were planning to go on the political route. I'll tell you the trouble started along Divis Street in 1969. As I say, it didn't start for no reason. With the IRA thinking of going the political route, Sinn Féin, the political wing, the political party of the IRA, a very small, unheard of party. They opened an election office next to that building and they put the Irish flag in the window. It was illegal. You were not allowed to fly the Irish flag.
That's green, white, orange.
Green, white and orange. You were not allowed to fly the Irish flag within the 6 counties. You could fly any other flag, just not the Irish flag. It was inside the window. It was going to be there for the period of the election. There was a Protestant minister coming about back then. You called this minister the Reverend Ian Paisley. You've heard of him, such a big man he was. The locals, they call him the big man or Big Ian. The Reverend Ian Paisley said that flag should not be in the window. He said it was a flag of another state. And if the police did not remove it, himself and his supporters would remove it. The Reverend Ian Paisley, with the police and his supporters, come down this street, smashed the window, removed the Irish flag. Within 15 minutes, there was Irish flags everywhere in here. And fighting broke out there called the Divis Street Rats. That was in 1964. 1966, the Catholics started civil rights marches. Civil rights marches were the Catholics looking for equal vote, equal share of jobs, equal share of housing. None of us are getting it. Catholics in the north here were referred to as the blacks of Europe. They got the idea of the civil rights marches from Martin Luther King, same time. Because the Catholics started civil rights marches, the Protestants, they formed a paramilitary group, called themselves the UVF, the Ulster Volunteer Force. They started shooting young Catholics dead in 1966, just for being Catholics. 2 men arrested for one of those murders. One of those men was heard to say while standing in court, he says, "I'm sorry I ever heard of that big man, Ian." That was all he said. Everyone knew he was referring to. 1969, the Catholics decided to have one large civil rights march. Leaving Belfast to go to Derry, Londonderry, whatever we used to call it. Derry sits 70 miles north of here. It was going to take them 4 days to march this route. En route, that civil rights march was attacked. Attacked by Protestant politicians, Protestant police, and our friend, the Reverend Ian Paisley and his supporters. They attacked the civil rights march. Because the civil rights march was attacked, the Catholics in Derry, where the parade was going to, they started fighting with the police. After 2 days of serious fighting in Derry, the people of this Catholic area, their thoughts were, if we start some trouble, we'll draw some of the police away from Derry. We'll take some of the pressure off the Catholics up there. They came out along Divis Street here in 1969, started throwing bricks and bottles at the police. Meanwhile, back in Derry, the Catholics had fought the police to a standstill. With the British Army had to be sent into Derry to help the police. With the Catholics fighting with the police here, the police, they responded. They came in with heavy machine guns. They started shooting. The tall high-rise apartments back over there, was a visitor in there, a 20-year-old boy, and visiting a girlfriend. He heard the shooting going on outside. He decided to venture outside to see what was going on. As he came out the door of the apartments, he was shot dead by the police. Their bullets penetrated the walls of those apartments, killing a 9-year-old boy while sleeping in his bed. But the 20-year-old visitor, an off-duty British soldier, first British soldier shot in these troubles, was shot outside Divis Tower by the police. With the Catholics fighting with the police here, The Protestants, they said this is the IRA again, looking for United Ireland. So the Protestants started to attack the Catholics. They were led by the UVF, the Ulster Volunteer Force. Not only did they outnumber them, they had on their side the police force, which was 99% Protestant. They had the reserve police, the Peace Specials, 100% Protestant. Plenty of guns. Catholics in here had very little to defend themselves with. They came under a lot of pressure. That's when the British Army was sent in here to get between the two communities to stop the fight. That's the first road in Belfast the British soldier come on to. Come in here as a peacekeeping force. Catholics have no love for the British, or the British soldiers. But they were under that much pressure. When they seen these soldiers coming in here, oh, they started cheering. They made them welcome. They gave them tea and coffee. They were pleased to see them to help protect them. And for a period, things went well. The young off-duty British soldiers did drink in the bars with the Catholic men.
Still in the 60s?
69. I was one of those men who drank with British. I was one of those Catholic men who drank with British soldiers. But when the British Army came in here in 1969, they were not under the control of the British government. They were under the control of the local Unionist Protestant government, who used the British Army against the Catholic community. And that's why the Catholic community, not the IRA, it was the Catholic community started to fight the British Army. The IRA, they're still thinking of going the political route. There was a group within the IRA said the IRA were not doing enough to defend the Catholics. These boys formed a breakaway group, a splinter group. They called themselves the Provisional IRA, the Provosts. It was that same Provisional IRA who went on to carry out a guerrilla war here for 30 years against the British Army and the police. But you also had Protestant paramilitary groups getting involved as well.
Do I see, I'm hearing four things now. Protestant, Catholic, not necessarily the same, but sort of a crossover between the Republic or the IRA, wanting one Ireland versus Catholic and Protestant. They're kind of on a parallel path, but not necessarily the same thing. Am I close?
Yeah, close enough. You see the green fence? The other side of that fence is the Protestant section of West Belfast. That fence is not there for one street. That fence starts at my marker that carries with the motorway. It starts straight against that motorway. And it continues to snake its way up through West Belfast, dividing the two communities. Catholics this side, Protestants your side.
Got barbed wire there.
It's called the Peace Line. Straighten it out, it will stretch between 3.5 and 4 miles long. There is crossing points in it. Most of those crossing points still today open at 6 in the morning, close 6:30 in the evening, still to this present day. Some when they close 6:30 Friday evening, remain closed 6 o'clock Monday morning. At the minute there's 6 crossing points. 4's closed, 2's opened. 3 o'clock, one above us will close, that'll leave 1 opened till 10:30. That one has cameras watching down on top of it, and it's rigged up electronically. The green section you're looking at, same height, same colour as the fence that was around Belfast City Centre. Only the one around Belfast City Centre was solid steel. And this one will keep changing as you go up through West Belfast. You see it on the back of that house, you see the brown fence?
Yes.
We want to step out, you get a photograph?
No, we're fine. No, we're good. Oh, yeah, I would like to get a photograph at some point, sure.
Well, look, you have plenty of time during the course of the tour to get out. Well, you say if you want to get out, get out. I said heading back towards the carriage with the motorway, right? You'll not see it going this way. Because we have a flour mill here, flour for making bread. Before this peace line went up, the Protestant and Catholic homes married up here. In among those homes, you had one flour mill, and you had 9 massive linen mills. Belfast was built on linen, famous for linen.
We almost stopped at Lisburn. I think it was Lisburn to visit a linen mill, but we didn't do it. But still, go ahead.
Belfast was built on linen, famous for linen. The reason that the linen mills in here, they needed plenty of ladies to work in the mills. They were getting ladies from both sides of the community. In the mills, one over the Catholics, one over the Protestants. Ladies working the mills together, become the best of friends. But at the end of the day, went their separate ways. There's no linen made in Ireland at all now, It's all made in India, brought back here and stamped, made in Ireland. This is the only working mill we've left in West Belfast. And it still has an entrance on the Catholic side. And it has an entrance on the Protestant side. The peace line will continue the opposite side of the mill.
That's amazing.
The high-rise apartments. 1979, the British Army went into those high-rise apartments. They put the residents out of the top 3 floors. The British Army went in and occupied the top 3 floors and the roof and used it as an observation post. Remained up there for 25 years. Quite safe up there. What I'm going to do, I'm going to bring into the Catholic section first. Show you some murals, wall paintings. Tell you some things that happened during that 30-year conflict. Bring you across the Protestant section and have you shot. No, sorry, no. Bring you across the Protestant section, show you some of their murals.
I'll have a shot.
Bring you up on how things are today. You okay, you're happy enough?
Yeah.
That Reverend Ian Paisley that I mentioned, 1950 when he formed his own religious group, the Free Presbyterians. He preached hatred against the Catholics. 1970 when he formed his own political party, the Democratic Unionist Party, which went on to be the second biggest unionist party during the conflict. He got the nickname of Dr. No, because he said no to every bloody thing. So they nicknamed him Dr. No. Dr. No was only buried there 9 years ago, and he will come up in here tour again. And if you do see any black taxis, you can let me know.
Okay.
Would you believe that? We're the only black taxi here.
It's a lighter shade of black.
When the Catholics started fighting the British soldiers in here, they used the buses as burning barricades. They put the buses across the road and burned them to stop the police and army getting in here. Eventually the government says no more buses for West Belfast. Left the people in here with no transport system. Not a local then thought there's a way to make some money. They went off to London and they bought London style taxis. And they started what they call the black taxi bus service. They used these as a bus. They started on the edge of the Catholic area, fed her through the Catholic area, would not leave the Catholic area for their own safety. And the Protestants, they said them Catholics have a good idea. They started their black taxi bus service. And they would not leave the Protestant areas. And they were totally illegal. More things to worry about. Even though the buses are back on today, they are now a recognised bus service by the government. And the people will still use them because we're there for them when they needed them. They're cheaper than a bus. They leave you closer to your home. You have 200 making a living this side alone. They're only licensed to work from the edge of the Catholic area to the Catholic area as a bus. They're not taxis, they're buses. They've done a mural on it here like about 5 months ago. Serving the community for 50 years. You see the bus in the background?
Yes.
The smoke coming out of it.
Yep.
Well, they're doing the bus service, but now they've started to do tours, so they're using it for an advertisement for taxi tours. I have a roof sign on. I'm a taxi. They've no roof signs on. They're buses, but they're doing tours at the minute. So they are. Can you see the boy at the very far end, the boy with the ginger hair, the ginger beard?
Ireland stands with Catalonia?
No, way on beyond it.
The other one, yes. Victory?
His name is Header Nugent. Header was his nickname. If you call someone a header in here, you sound a bit crazy. He was an IRA man back in 1976, caught with explosives, sentenced to a prison sentence. When they put him in prison, they handed him the prison uniform. What did the header say? He said, I'm a political prisoner. I'm not a criminal. The only way I'll wear that uniform, if you nail it to my back. He refused to wear the uniform. He walked around the prison completely naked. No clothes, no socks, no shoes. Just a blanket around him. He became known as the first blanket man. Within 1 week, he was joined by 300 IRA men, all walking around the prison naked, with blankets around them. They call it the blanket protest. Want to be treated as political prisoners. Maggie Thatcher, the Prime Minister, says ordinary criminals and be treated as such. That blanket protest continued for 2 years. After 2 years, one of the prisoners said, this is no good. Let's have a no-wash protest. A no wash protest. They kept the blanket around them. They refused to wash. They refused to shave. They refused to have their hair cut. They smeared their own dirt on the walls and ceilings of the cells and they urinated in their own cells. The English, they named it the Dirty Protest. That dirty protest continued for 2 years. After 2 years, one of the prisoners said, this is still no good. Let's have a hunger strike. 10 young men, 10 very young men, youngest 23 years of age, the oldest 30 years of age, starved themselves to death in the hunger strike.
That's what I heard that.
On the white one, that is one of our small dissident groups in here. As part of our peace agreement in 1998, all prisoners on both sides be released. In the year 2000, they released all the prisoners. Some of them did not agree with our peace agreement. Some went back into small dissident groups. 2 years ago, one of those dissident groups blew up and killed a young prison officer. 5 months ago, a bomb went off outside Derry Courthouse. 10 weeks ago, a young journalist shot dead up in Derry. Some of their men were rearrested and put back in McGabbery prison, where they started looking to be treated as political prisoners. But the IRA, UVF, those organisations survived in here 30 odd years because they had the support of the people. But the people on both sides in here, they like this peace. They want to hold on to this peace. They're not giving those dissident groups their support. Yes, they may have the capability. Without the support of the people, they'll not survive. Now, the Battle of Long Kesh was an internment camp. August 1971, the Protestant government sent the British Army here to arrest and intern. Take a person, put them in prison. No court, no release date. They came in here, arrested innocent men and boys and put them out in Long Kesh, 16 miles out of Belfast. They kept them in old wooden huts. One day army helicopters come over the prison and drop what they call a CR gas down into the prison. We all experienced CS gas. CS gas was a rat control gas. CR gas we never heard of before. Never been used again since. They were experimenting with this stuff. Years later, most of the prisoners and prison officers all died of one type of cancer. They actually come from the CR gas. The prisoners didn't want to burn the prison down, but they had to bring a prison ship into Belfast Lock and put the prisoners out on the ship. The red one with the white circle, this is a Gaeltacht area, a Gaelic speaking area. A lot of the schools in here, once the children go through the front gate, there's no more English. A lot of the clubs are teaching it. A lot of the families are speaking it.
Is that Gaelic?
Yeah, and they got their own Gaelic speaking radio station going. As I say, the black taxis doing the bus service. Stop supplying arms to Saudi Arabia. That's when they arrived there 5 weeks ago. It speaks for itself, that one. You see how bright and colourful it is?
Yep.
Could we manage to step out and have a look at the rest of them? What do you see? The Irish flag, the green represents the Catholics, the orange represents the Protestants, the white represents peace. The boy with the hand, yeah, that's the first blanket man. The head of Egypt. The 10 boys, the right of them, that's the 10 boys that starved themselves to death in hunger strike. The Palestinian one, the people on this side of the fence say we support the Palestinians. The people on the other side of the wall, they support the Israelis. The REN one of our small dissident groups, you want to keep this fight going, but they're not getting the support of the people. Without the support of the people, they're going nowhere. You can take whatever photographs you wish.
Okay, thank you.
Got dead. Day or night, 24 hours. No one knew how long that curfew was going to last. After 3 days of it, thousands of Catholic ladies from other areas gathered on the edge of West Belfast. They told all the men to go home and stay away. They said they would deal with it. Those ladies armed themselves. They armed themselves with bread and milk because the people in here had nothing fresh for 3 days. They marched down in here in the thousands carrying bread and milk and pushing children and prams. With the world media standing watching, the British Army were not going to try and stop ladies carrying bread and milk. Once they get into this here in the thousands, the people come out of their homes. That's how they stopped the curfew.
In July of 1970.
Just like yesterday.
When the Catholics started fighting the British soldiers in here, they went all over West Belfast and removed all the nameplates of all the streets. British soldiers were coming in here with maps and getting themselves lost. Anyone ever hear a song by U2 with the streets of no names?
Yes.
That's what he was singing about. This was the streets of no names. We had the blanket protest. We had the dirty protest. Then they decided to have a hunger strike. Bobby Sands here.
Here we go.
Very girlish looking, but it is a fella. Move that bloody bus! Very girlish looking, but it is a fella. He was officer commanding the prisoners.
Army structure. Officer come out and said he'd be first to go on hunger strike. While on hunger strike, there was an election come up for Westminster, the British Parliament. For each of our 6 counties, you had one member of Parliament for each county, went to Westminster. Bobby Sands' name was put forward. He was an elected MP to Westminster while in prison on hunger strike. Changed the law directly after that. Prisoner could not be elected. Elected MP getting 30,000 first preference votes. More votes than Maggie Thatcher got on her own constituency. Where did all these votes come from? Then they realised what was happening. Over the years, the Catholics had been practising their religion. They did not believe in birth control. Catholics in their having families, 12, 14, 15 of a family. I come from a small family of 9. Protestants, having 1, maybe 2. When the IRA Sinn Féin seen this, that's when they decided we can now fight this war on 2 fronts. The gun in one hand, the election box in the other hand. That's when they started taking politics serious. Not only did he become an MP, he wrote a book, he wrote some poems. He died after 66 days in hunger strike. Over the period of the next 8 months, another 9 had starved himself to death, 10 in total. Hunger strike was stopped. At that time, the press, the media, they said the reason it was stopped. They said it was the mothers of the boys in hunger strike that wanted to stop it. Within weeks of the hunger strike being stopped, Maggie Thatcher, the Prime Minister, she decided to give the prisoners special privileges. Special privileges. They could wear their own clothes. They did not have to do prison work. They could educate themselves. She treated them exactly the same as the political prisoner. She just would not use the words political status.
Special privilege versus, got it.
Because he was the first and an MP, that would make him the most famous of the hunger strikers. That's the reason he's on the side of that building. That's Sinn Féin headquarters. That's the political wing of the IRA. The word Sinn Féin translated into English means ourselves alone. During the Troubles, the English banned Sinn Féin voices from being heard on television or radio. What did Sinn Féin do? They went and got actors to dub their voices as a way around of interviewing them. At another stage, they were not allowed to leave Northern Ireland. They were treated as terrorists. But since our peace agreement, yes, they have sat with unionist Protestant politicians in government together.
I done a documentary with Vince Vaughn.
What was the name of it again?
Art of Conflict. No, that was his one was Art of Conflict. That was Art of Conflict. The other one was No Reservations. Anthony Bourdain.
Okay.
Interesting in turn. What they did not realise, all the young Catholic men seeing their families, friends, and neighbours been put in prison, they in turn went and joined this new provisional IRA. It just kept getting bigger and stronger. Then we'd Irish Americans collecting money in bars in America. Every week the big guns for the IRA. We had Colonel Gaddafi of Libya sending shiploads of weapons out for the IRA. No charge, free of charge. During the conflict, there was a priest in there, Father Alex Reid. He would have had secret meetings in here with British ministers. But he also met with IRA men, he acted as a go-between. He also witnessed the IRA decommission, dispose of their guns. And he got Jerry Adams, the president of Sinn Féin, in the peace talks. That's what got our peace process started. That monastery has an underground cellar in it. During the war, that cellar was used as an area shelter, used by both Catholic and Protestant. When within the area shelter, Catholics went one end, Protestants went the other end. The ladies that worked in the mills together were so friendly with each other, they would not speak to each other in the area shelter, because their family, friends and neighbours were there. They didn't want them to see how friendly they were with girls from the opposite religion. The area behind the monastery, a small area consisting of 13 small streets. Get up and help me and go and do some work. I'm going to bring you down into Bombay Street. The first thing you notice at Bombay Street will be our high to dividing wall will be. See the fence directly in front of us?
Mm-hmm.
That's a continuation of the peace line to dividing wall. Can you see the photograph on the side of the house down here in front of me?
The which one?
This one here on the side of the
Yes.
house. That's a photograph of Bombay Street here in 1969. When the Protestants with the police or reserve police come in here, they reckon their intent to target the Catholic monastery. We're going to burn the monastery. A crowd had gathered around the monastery to protect it. They stopped here in Bombay Street. They burnt all the Catholic homes. The young boy on the right of the photograph, Jared Macaulay, 15 years of age, tried to defend us and was shot dead. This is Bombay Street in front of us, rebuilt 2 years later, 1971. Rebuilt by money collected around Catholic homes each week because the government refused to build them. The government said it was too dangerous. Catholics rebuilt them on the understanding that the people that was burnt out moved back in, which they did do. You still have some of the original residents living here today went through this. If not them, a son or a daughter's taken over the family home. Because it was bought and paid from the Catholic community, they passed it down to the family. On the gates you see the phoenix, the mythical bird, arising from the ashes. As they say, Bombay Street arose from the ashes. This is one of many remembrance gardens scattered throughout Catholic West Belfast. This one is dedicated to people of this small area, 13 small streets. Honest ABF walked into the shop, shot her 5 times in the face and once in the chest, because she was a Catholic. Young lad brushing the streets, his job keep the streets clean, shot dead while doing so for being a Catholic. George Lane, his door kicked in the middle of the night and shot dead. With the IRA killing British soldiers and police, the Protestants retaliated by killing Catholics, any Catholic. Nora McCabe, a mother of 3, going to the shop, hit in the head with a plastic bullet. A plastic bullet. Fired from a gun, just like a bullet. Designed to be fired over a distance of 30 metres and aimed at the lower part of the body, crowd control. Nora McCabe was hit from a distance of 10 feet, less than 3 metres. Direct hit to the back of the head and killed outright. 17 people killed with those things. 9 of those 17 were children. 16-year-old, he was shot in the back by a British soldier. Go back in time, a 4-year-old, 5-year-old. A brother in the Catholic religion, he was looking out the window of the monastery, he was shot dead. All in this area, 13 small streets.
With intent or by accident for the 5-year-old?
Well, no, that would have been, it was just shooting in the area, it wasn't
Yeah,
purposely done.
yeah.
The right-hand side, these are all IRA volunteers, but they were termed killed in action. Don't forget they're volunteers in the 20s and 40s, the first one. 15th of August, 69, that's the day they burned the homes down. Jared Macaulay shot dead trying to defend the homes. Fiona, he was in the youth wing, the junior wing of the IRA. 4 boys there, the youngest 16, the oldest 21. Making a bomb in a house here. Bomb exploded prematurely. Demolished the house, killed all 4 of them.
Yeah, I see 40 and I see, or 42 now, 70s.
70s. Well, Don McCann and Sean Savage.
87.
With a girl called Maria Farrell, they left West Belfast and went to Gibraltar, the Rock of Gibraltar. When they arrived in Gibraltar, they were shot dead. Shot dead by the SAS, the Special Air Service British Army. Brought back here for burial. During the course of their funeral in the graveyard, was attacked by a Protestant, Michael Stone, throwing hand grenades and shooting revolvers. Injured 60 and killed 3 that day. Maria's name's not in this stone because she is not from this area. Her name being another stone. You have these remembrance gardens all over Catholic West Belfast. 20s, 30s and 40s, 50s and 60s. Most of them put in prison. No court, no release date. Study their names, you see a lot of family members among them. All from this area, 13 small streets.
I see recent remembrances, like you were saying
Easter
before.
Sunday, yeah. See the bottom left-hand photograph?
Yes,
Well, test your eyesight. You see the British soldier?
yes.
He still has the barry on him, no need for a crash helmet. On the same photograph on the left-hand side, there's a burnt-out house. 3/4 way up the burnt-out house, you see the sign from Bombay Street.
They look away down into the middle of the photograph. Halfway up on the homes, can you see the Union flag?
I do.
That's their close to live teacher before they opened up. I used to grow up with a young Protestant girl. Come through those side streets, make my way back home here before they put that wall up. Haven't seen that girl in 50 years. Well, my wife might have something to say about it if it was this year.
She's probably pleased with that, yeah.
In this section. Dedicated to the ordinary people of the area. Without the support of the ordinary people, an organisation like the IRA does not survive. Dedicated to people who would have hidden guns, give them a safe bed, give them food, lent them vehicles, things like that. On the four corners, the four flags, the four provinces. The three they give back the Irish, 1921. The Ulster flag, the red hand, the 9-county Ulster flag. When they changed to a 6-county Ulster, they changed the flag. They put a white background with a crown that the Queen would wear above the red hand. The white piece around the hand, they turned it into a 6-pointed star. The 6 points representing the 6 counties. So you have two Ulster flags. This one, the 9-county erected for the Catholics, the 6-county erected for the Protestants.
Still.
Take whatever photographs you wish, just do not be claiming over that wall.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
All the work is done voluntary by local men. Then they elect the committee to look after it. Some of the committees since passed on. They don't forget them either. See, it's just a dead end street, but we'll go down this way and your wife will be able to see the cages from the opposite end.
Okay.
People killed with those things. 9 of those 17 were children.
Oh my goodness.
See the back of homes to your right there?
Look to your right,
See
Debbie.
the metal cages?
Yes.
That's in case any explosive device, petrol bombs or bricks comes over the wall to protect the back of their homes. That's a Belfast conservatory.
There's another black taxi. That's white.
White black taxi. Oh, you've that many doing these tours now, you've too many. They're all chancing their arm.
Uh-huh.
And again, if you look between these houses to my right, you'll see in behind those houses the peace line continuing. You see the fence in behind the trees?
Yeah.
That's a peace line going all up into the hills. Gentleman with scholar. We've touched on a small section of Catholic West Belfast. We're now going to turn right into Protestant West Belfast. This crossing point we're going to cross over here will open at 6 in the morning. Close 10:30 in the evening, 7 days a week. Still to this present day. This one's rigged up electronically. And a switch in the police station that closes completely. Do you want to step out and get a photograph of that?
Yes.
The top start flashing, it starts beeping, and then the gates start closing slowly.
Wow. Every day, still.
10:30 every day. We're just crossing over into the Protestant section. The Protestants will tell you they're British, they're not Irish. You don't insult them by calling them Irish. The wall is one of 80 walls scattered throughout Northern Ireland. This one's the longest, the highest, the oldest, up longer than the Berlin Wall was up. Berlin Wall was up 28 years. That wall's now 49 years. This road at one time would have been used only by British soldiers. There was no civilian traffic allowed in this road. The homes along on our left have only been built here, what, 10 years ago? We have just come to the complete opposite side of the wall. Before the Irish stopped their war, after 30 years they realised they were never going to defeat the British Army. Sinn Féin, the political wing of the IRA, they were getting bigger and stronger. 1994, the IRA stopped their work. 1986, President Clinton come here, got involved in our peace agreement. Left one fantastic man called Senator George Mitchell. George Mitchell, he was the main negotiator between the political parties. Good Friday 1998. George Mitchell got us a peace agreement. The main thing in that peace agreement, that the Unionists and Sinn Féin would sit in government together. In the year 2000, the Unionists and Sinn Féin did sit in government together. Also, as part of our peace agreement, the employers now must take the workforce on a 50-50 basis. If you apply for a job now, you have to state your religion on your application form. It's law, you have to. Everything was Protestant and Catholic. Football teams, schools, everything. 9 years ago, they opened another 2 integrated schools. Protestant and Catholic children now going to school together. Bringing now to a total of 65 integrated schools in Northern Ireland. Small percentage. Good start. The Ring of Steel around Belfast city centre is now gone. Catholics and Protestants are starting to mix and meet. They're starting to realise that each other has not got 2 heads. They're starting to get along with each other. So with them working together, socialising together, going to school together, that's what's going to bring that wall down. It won't be the politicians who will decide. The people will decide. Now, it was built by the British Army. When they built it first, you can out in a minute get your photos. When they built it first, it was a white, blank concrete wall. It remained that way all during the Troubles. Until the taxi drivers and coach drivers started doing their tours. They thought it smart. They carried felt tip pens and spray paints. They encouraged their visitors to write their name or leave a message on the wall. They made one hell of a mess of the wall. 9 years ago, they brought these tag artists, graffiti artists in from around the world. They got a competition going. Competition was used to cover the mess up and put a bit of colour to the wall. Belfast is famous for red brick. They're real brick. They moulded scenes of the workers' houses set here. In the link-up steel, the top centre with the Dalai Lama said when he was here. Far right, but Bill Clinton said when he was here. Some of the words out of some of the songs, some of the jobs would have done the mill, some of the games would have played. This was all done to clean the wall up. As you can see, they still write all over the top of it.
There, yeah.
Go on ahead. After that tree, you see the flagpole?
I do, yep.
That's the garden we were in there now.
We're just there, okay. So this is the spot. I mean, this is the spot.
You're right on the front line here, so you were. They brought a British minister in here, a man called Chris Patton. Chris Patton, he was the last governor of Hong Kong. Brought in here to do a report on the place. His main recommendation was when you bring on new recruits, bring them on a 50-50 basis each side of the community. So it's over a period of time you get the proper balance in the place. We also changed their name and uniform. Patton made 175 recommendations for changing the police force. Well, Sinn Féin, the political wing of the IRA, they were saying the Patton report was not fully implemented. For that reason, Sinn Féin refused to support the police. They refused to join the police committees. And for that reason, the young Catholics would not join the police service. Coming up on my right will be another crossing point, which is closed. If these gates down on my right, back in the distance you have a second set of gates. The piece in the middle becomes a no man's land. 6:30 in the evening and 6 in the morning, 5 days a week. That one remains closed from Friday evening through to Monday morning. They leave them open during the day for businessmen moving about the city. It makes it easy for security forces to close the gates at night. I would say it's quite safe to leave them open, but I'm just a taxi driver. But you know what happens here on the 12th and 13th of July, the 11th and 12th? The 11th night of these crazy mad bonfires. There was a bonfire that lit here on the 11th of July. See the size of the base of it?
Yes.
That was about 80 to 100 foot high, that bonfire.
And the reason?
Huh?
The reason?
Oh, well, that one's to celebrate William's victory. Bring out the mural. That's celebrating William's victory over the Catholic King James.
the guards all have their bonfires. I think 80 to 120 foot high bonfires. They all light them at 11 o'clock at night on the 11th of July.
11th of July.
And again, if you look down this next road to my right, down in here you see another, the white cars going that direction now. You see another crossing point, a double set of gates, and a small piece of no man's land. We're now approaching the main Protestant Shangle Road. Out to my left is controlled by the UVL and the Ulster Volunteer Force. Down to my right is controlled by the UFL, the Ulster Freedom Fighters. 9 years ago, both these Protestant paramilitary groups started to decommission, dispose of their guns 9 years ago. They have not completed that as yet. This is a Protestant Shangle Road out to my left, going out into the hills. Down to my right, we're going back towards Belfast city centre. But as I said earlier, the IRA were coming in here killing innocent Protestants, men, women and children. Protestants didn't build remembrance gardens. Their murals were more on history and tradition, glorifying their gunmen. Look up the left, you'll maybe see there's some banners out, flags out. I'll bring you down into the Protestant Shangle Estate. We'll show you what's left of the Protestant murals. This first mural has only been changed here, what, 9 months ago? Nothing about us, without us, is for us. What they're saying, any talks in the future, but they're not involved in those talks. There's nothing in it for them.
Still the Protestant area?
Oh yeah, totally. You see the red, white, and blue, the flags out?
Oh, yes.
You see the left that mural, the garden fence? That's the two murals that's up there previous. The top one, the David Turner, the Northern Ireland coat of arms with the Ulster flag and the white background on it. The bottom one, UFF, the Ulster Freedom Fighters. That's the group that still controls this area still today. And you'll see it was sponsored by the Housing Executive, a government body. The government paid the money to change this mural. They wanted to take a leg of the gunmen down. I would like to know how much money they paid to have that done. And where did that money end up? Well,
Let me take a quick picture here.
the Protestant politicians were, and still are, members of the Orange Order. The Orange Order did have a vote to the Senate in the running of Northern Ireland. They still have their marching season. Their big marches on the 12th of July. On the 12th of July 1690, King William, the Dutchman, that's seen here to my left, the Orange man, Protestant.
William of Orange, huh?
He defeated King James II, the Celtic, at the Battle of the Boyne, 12th of July 1690. They still hold their march to celebrate William's victory over the Celtic King James. But when they marched, they said it was the Queen's Highway. They could march anywhere. And they did march through Celtic areas. 24 years ago, the Catholics started the protest. They came out and sat on the road. Protestant police force were sent in to beat them off the road to let the place go down. But from our peace agreement, we now have what they call a Praise Commission, where they now have to apply for the right to march, but they didn't have to before. 14 years ago, the Praise Commission did stop some of those marches in the three Catholic areas. Yes, there is still Catholic areas that march through. Normally be trouble every marching season. Once the marching season is over, things go back to normal. This year has been our quietest marching season ever. Bonfires the night before the march. When William was coming to Northern Ireland for the first time ever, the Protestants were down on the side of Belfast Law, lit bonfires up the side of the law to get William up the law. They've been lighting bonfires.
So July's a big month. We think of the 4th of July, Independence Day type thing, and Protestants have the 12th.
June, July, and August, the big march in August. Because he killed so many Catholics, he's one of their heroes, so put a roll up there. They never did discover who killed Stevie Topman. I would point the finger to British security forces. Year 2000, when our peace agreement, when our politicians sitting in government together, they were starting to release the prisoners. Stevie here, he was still trying to kill Catholics. I reckon the British security force would have beat him to death. He was just been a hindrance to our peace agreement. Who's the boys pointing the guns at? You see the two boys with the guns?
Yes.
That's your Belfast Mona Lisa. No matter where you are in here, they're pointing them guns at you. Eastern Centre here in Belfast. The IRA broke into it, went through their secret files. And when they were sitting in government together, they said the IRA had a spy ring within. So for those reasons, 2002, the Unionists walked out of government, left our politicians in limbo. You will remember that Protestant minister back in 1964 who wanted the flag out of the window, the Robert Ian Paisley.
Yes.
Dr. No. Dr. No, he got involved in a lot of things over the 30 years. He brought down governments. He got involved with Protestant paramilitary groups. He formed his own religious group, his own political party. In the year 2005, the Reverend Ian Paisley, Dr. No, was voted the biggest political party in Northern Ireland. Sitting government for Sinn Féin, as usual, he said no. He did at one time said the IRA said the war's over and dispose of their guns. Yes, he would sit for Sinn Féin. The IRA said the war was over. They disposed of their guns. And Paisley still said no. He says because they were not supporting the police. Sinn Féin, they were saying the Patton report on the police was not been fully implemented. That's when the British and Irish governments got together. They brought our politicians off to St Andrews in Scotland for peace talks. After those peace talks, Sinn Féin said yes, we'll support the police, we'll join the police committees. That's when the young Catholics started to join the police service, 2006. Today, 30% of the police force is the Catholic community. When I go to cross over my marker, the carriage by the motorway, past through the next set of traffic lights, we're out of West Belfast. 2006, young Catholics started to join the police service. Paisley had no reason now not to sit for Sinn Féin. What did he do? He asked for another general election, which he got the 3rd of March 07. Again, Paisley was voted the biggest political party in Northern Ireland. But Sinn Féin were now the 2nd biggest party. They had up until the 26th of March to get back into government together. If not, the British and Irish were going to take joint control of Northern Ireland. 26th of March 07, the Reverend Ian Paisley, Dr. No, surprised everyone and said, yes, I'd sit for Sinn Féin. But leave it for 6 weeks. That 6 weeks brought us up until the 8th of May. On the 8th of May 07, our politicians get back into government together. With Paisley, Dr. No being our First Minister, Martin McGuinness, an IRA commander, being his Deputy First Minister. Sworn enemies for 30 odd years, they ended up sitting in government together. They got on so well together, they got the nickname of the Chuckle Brothers. Every time they were seen together, they were joking and laughing. People couldn't believe how well they got on together. Paisley then stood down as leader of the Free Presbyterian Church. He stood down as leader of the Democratic Unionist Party. He stood down as our First Minister. I say stood down. He was pushed out by his own people because he was so friendly with Martin McGuinness. Martin McGuinness and Sinn Féin walked out of government 2.5 years ago. We've had another general election. And our politicians still won't knock it back in the government together. We then had a Westminster election where Theresa May needed the DUP, Paisley's party, to keep her in power. She paid them £1 billion to keep her in power. That's the way it stands at the minute. The DUP and Paisley's party's now dead for Theresa May, the Conservative government. Our politicians are still not back in government together. It looks like we may go under direct rule from England. That's the way it looks in a minute.
Mm.
But I thought you would have been termed the most dangerous parts of Belfast. I'm now proud to tell you Belfast is reckoned to be one of the safest cities in Europe. Was the crime rate so low? Plus, we make our visitors welcome. We only shoot each other. You're quite safe. It's the city going forward. It's the city I can now be proud of again.
What about Brexit at all?
Well, that's the big problem now coming. The deal that Theresa May had suited us great. Our business people, our farmers, everybody here wanted that deal. The DUP said no. They think it's getting too close to United Ireland.
Yeah.
They would prefer to see a border back up.
Yep.